Okay. Ready?
Yes.
Okay, let me rephrase that last thing I was asking about. Within the Scientology community,
Yes.
there's the concept of the dynamics.
Right. The greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics.
Okay. With that in mind, explain what that means.
That means there are 8 dynamics. And of course you know what they are, Mark may not know. The first dynamic is the dynamic to survive or to be as yourself. Second is as a family member, family unit, as a spouse. The third would be the group. Scientology is considered the third dynamic. Fourth is mankind. Fifth is all life forms, which would include the plant and the animal kingdom. Sixth is the entire physical universe. Seventh is spirits, other thetans. And 8, it would be considered the infinite, or God, or if you, the creator dynamic, you can call it that. That would be the 8th dynamic.
Okay, in that scheme, who would you be benefiting by revealing the truth about your being Christ's father and thereby leading large numbers of people to Scientology?
All 8 dynamics.
How important an act would that have been?
The most important act in my entire 76 trillion years.
How would you balance out the, you know, you've heard the phrase, you can't make an omelet without breaking an egg. How do you balance out the interests of various people when it comes to good for the largest number of dynamics?
Well, obviously certain people will be very hurt or ARC broken when they get this true data. But the idea is once they get over this initial secondary, you know what a secondary is, then at that point they will have freed a lot of charge on their own personal first dynamic track, and they will see that what they have been regarding as true data has been false data. Therefore, what then happens is that they will address the source of the true data. They will know that this e-meter can prove that I am Jesus Christ, Father Malchut. And that being the case, who developed the e-meter? Scientology. This is the source of the truth, but what is the source of the meter? And it all comes down to the first incident on the track.
So even though people might be initially distressed by this revelation,
they might be initially shocked, ARC broken, or totally devastated.
Well,
but it is for the greatest good for the greatest number of dynamics that they have this data, false data, stripped. Because why should, let me ask you a question. Is it fair in the 12th century, I had an existence in the 12th century. I was a nun. I was a nun in the 12th century. And I thought it was so important to deny myself pleasure that I died from a hemorrhage in going to the bathroom. Because I didn't want, and for not going to the bathroom, I didn't want there to be any pleasure in my life, because I was into sacrifice at that time, sacrificing for the church. So I hemorrhaged because I held my bowels in until they erupted, because I was afraid that any little pleasure might be too much of a sin. Now that type of thinkingness is what I am here to eradicate in clearing the planet. When you clear a planet, you asked me that before we got interrupted. When you clear a planet, it doesn't mean clearing half the people off the earth. That's an MU. That would be a bad way of looking at clearing, you know. Clearing means to raise one's state of awareness that they are not a physical body, that they are a spiritual being operating one, and that they don't have to operate, at least on the first dynamic, in their body. Clear means cleared on the first dynamic, or able to exteriorize. Now, OT is not clear. OT means you're clear on all 8 dynamics. You're not only surviving on all of these dynamics, but you are being them. You can be the physical universe. You can be all the spirits in all of the parallel universes. You can be God. That's right. When you are clear on all 8 dynamics, you can be, do, and have, and know. Those are the 4 operations of life on all 8 dynamics. You can hear every thought that everyone is thinking right now, all over the planet Earth, all over every universe, and every thought that they have ever thought and ever will think. And you can know every one of those thoughts with complete knowingness. Can you grasp the immensity of that? Now, when you have a half a planet of Earth cleared, the other half is very easy. You know, it's like the old expression that Scientology taught me. It's the second million that's the easiest. You know, the first million is the hardest to make, you know. And once you get to the first million, it's very easy to make the second million. Fred Hare said that. The point is, what I'm trying to make is, once you clear half of the people of Earth, and you get them to a level of awareness that they know that they are a spiritual being, the rest of it, I mean, who do you have left? You have some Buddhists, and they're already half clear. Because Buddhism, you know, L. Ron Hubbard was Buddha. L. Ron Hubbard, read the Hymn of Asia. Have you ever read the Hymn of Asia?
No.
The Hymn of Asia is a book that L. Ron Hubbard wrote. In fact, it's right here. I have it right here. In which he tells about his life as Buddha. And what mistakes he made at that time because he didn't go all the way. Buddha talked about the state of clear. But he didn't tell anyone how to do it. That's what Scientology takes up where Buddhism leaves off.
Is that why there are some similarities between Scientology and Buddhism?
Yeah, because L. Ron Hubbard was Buddha. In fact, in many of my literature, it says, join the greatest push on the planet Earth since the last 2,500 years. The 2,500 years ago refers to Buddha. In fact, the greatest act of suppression on the Earth in the last 2,500 years was Christ.
Is that why there's a similarity between the Tibetan Book of the Dead, for example, and the Between Lives area?
Yeah, it's because the Vedic hymns, when the Vedic hymns were written by Ron in that lifetime, that data was written down, and of course the Between Lives area is an offshoot of that. The Vedic hymns was written by Ron too.
Can you explain?